Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwantner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of meeting with Justin Sapula. He's managing partner with the Janek Performance Group. Welcome, Justin.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about sales training. Why is it so important?
Yeah, sales training can be one of the biggest drivers in order to improve performance within a sales organization. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go about improving performance. In fact, there's so many, it might be overwhelming. It is overwhelming to many people. But at the end of the day, sales training gets at the heart of what sales performance is all about, which it really comes down to that moment between the salesperson and the customer. And no matter what a company does, getting salespeople in front of the right customer, the right time, with the right tools, if the salesperson doesn't have the ability to execute at that moment, to make a great interaction between him and that particular customer, then he's going to struggle. You're not going to be able to execute what you want to execute.
So you talk about execution as a skill. What are some of the most important and most difficult skills to teach a salesperson to be the master of the moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I think there's a few. And the tricky part about sales is that it changes, which is probably the hardest thing. It's not that it stays the same. So I think in today's environment, there's a couple key skills. Number one, sales professionals need to be real professionals today. They have to know their industry, they have to know their customers, they have to know their products and services, and especially the application of those products and services. Because in order to be successful, customers are looking for value. They're looking for the customer to provide value, and more so than what your product provides. They're looking for insights. They're looking for ideas. They're looking for you to really help them make a better decision or to help them get to where they want to get. And as a sales professional, in order to do that, there's a few things that you have to have down.
So you need to get your ducks in a row before you make the call. You need to have a salesperson that's really trained to share ideas, to translate information into value, and then prove the ROI.
Absolutely.
So how do you get a sales organization ready to do that consistently?
Yeah, another great question. So I think when we look at implementing sales training across an organization, it's a much more strategic effort than I think most people think about. And I think a lot of people look in one particular area in order to make this happen, in order to make it very effective. But there's a few areas that you need to look at, in my opinion. So at Janek, what we do when we look at sales training implementation, we break it down into 3 segments: what happens before, during, and after the training. And I think what most people think of when they think about sales training, they focus on the during. They want to make sure they have the right program, they have great facilitators, the classroom experience is great, or whatever the module is for delivery. They want to make sure that they have that down. But we find that it's a lot more important to have the things before and after in order. So when we look at before, we look at something along the lines of, is the organization ready for this change? What are the perceptions around selling? We start to get perceptions from the salespeople and say, okay, what do you feel you're really good at? Where do you struggle? What products are easy to sell and what are a little more difficult? And it's those perceptions that drive the messaging around the sales training program. Because we approach sales training from the before aspect like marketing. It's like you're marketing a product. You have to have a clear value proposition. You have to clearly communicate what's in it for in this case, the participant. And you have to make sure that they're ready. So when they walk into training, they know what it is, they know what to expect, they're ready, they're eager, they're ready to learn.
So it's almost like preparing the mindset and then you do the training. What about the after?
Yeah, after is where I think the real work begins. After is where you take knowledge and turn it into behaviors, and there's a transition there. And people are not going to necessarily take what they learned in the classroom and the very next day be an expert at it. And that expectation, I think, needs to be set, that it's okay to struggle a bit. And it's okay that it might feel a little uncomfortable, the first few times that you do it. But it's important to know that the end game, the outcome, is that you'll be better off at the end if you stick with it. So we need to make sure that we have people and processes in place to support that learner and to help them through that journey.
Thank you, Justin. For anybody who'd like to get more information, go to janek.com. Thank you.